Call of Duty Warzone is easily one of the hottest battle royale games around at the moment, and just like any other battle royale, there is a lot to learn here. So regardless if you're a veteran to Modern Warfare or you're new to Warzone, hopefully you'll learn something new in this video. And if you have any Warzone tips and tricks of your own, then let me know them down below. If you want more helpful videos like this delivered to your subscription box, then consider hitting that subscribe button. But anyway, our first tip begins the moment you jump out of that plane. And when it comes to dropping anywhere, you want to get there as quickly as possible. So if you're dropping out right underneath a location, you can simply just aim straight down. But if you need to travel some distance and want to do it particularly quickly, then this trick will come in very handy, especially if you want to be the first person to land in an area. So when you've deployed your parachute in the direction of the area you want to land in, if you cut your parachute, you will pull out your pistol and immediately notice a big speed boost. In parachuting, you only move at 10 kilometers an hour, but with this trick, you can easily get to 40 or even 50 kilometers, open your parachute and then cut it again and continually do this until you get to the drop quicker. Seems obvious, but once you get in the hang of it, you'll be doing this in no time and land everywhere before anyone else. The next tip is to know exactly what loot you're looking for. And there's tons of loose loot all around the ground throughout Warzone, but what you're going to be looking for and listening out for is supply drops of rarity color and weapons of rarity color. Just like in Fortnite, this rarity level corresponds to the drop rate in game. The higher the rarity level a loot item is, the rarer it is as an in-game drop, and the rarity appears both as a symbol within a diamond as well as an afterglow on weapons and supply drops on your heads-up display. The rarer the weapon, the more attachments that weapon has, with a common weapon having no attachments being grey, an uncommon weapon having a bit of a green glow to it. Rare is a step up from common and is shown with a blue afterglow. Epic loot is given a purple afterglow, and this category includes finding field upgrades and equipment as well as weapon blueprints with 4 attachments on them, and the highest rarity being legendary with an orange gold afterglow. And this normally consists of game-changing field upgrades such as stopping power rounds, weapon blueprints with all 5 attachment slots filled, and other hard to find in-game items like self-revive kits and gas masks. And all these rarity of items can be found on the ground or from looting supply boxes, and if you can't see them, you can definitely hear them, because if you've ever heard a weird audible hum in game, that's because you are close to a supply box. This hum is going to grow louder as you follow the noise until it reaches its final crescendo when you're standing right next to it and haven't opened it. So in general, remember to listen to that audible cue. Now, I'm sure most of you understand how the health works, but in this it's a bit different to your typical battle royale. You start with 100 health and 2 armor plates equipped out of 3 in total. Your current armor status is shown above the health bar in the bottom left corner of your screen. Taking damage will deplete the bar, which is in segments in thirds to represent each armor plate. You can carry up to 5 armor plates at any time, and when used, an armor plate will fill up the armor bar to the nearest third. So at all times, you want to make sure that you have 8 armor plates carried by your operator, up to 5 in reserve and 3 worn and ready to absorb damage. Now, I'm sure most of you have been making full use of the buy stations, which are these interactable portable comm stations, which you can exchange cash for kill streaks, armor plates, self-revive kits, and loadout drops. These are all marked on your tactical map as small green shopping carts. Whilst you are accessing these buy stations, it is possible for an enemy player to down you. So in other words, quick trips to this store are preferred rather than pursuing through the menus. And there are some seriously good stuff within these buy stations, and one tip I'm going to recommend you right now is to buy a UAV. This is easily one of the most powerful kill streaks to use in any situation, because if you aren't sure where the enemies are, you can use it just like you would in multiplayer, and suddenly you're going to see a lot of red dots near you. But to take this one step further, press your map button to reveal the entire map, and you'll notice that that UAV stretches a lot further than you realized, as you'll be able to see a lot more enemies than you would normally just on the radar. That is a tip which I really like to use. Now, another thing you can purchase on the buy station is a loadout drop. This is one of the most expensive items in the buy station, and I don't recommend buying them straight from the buy station unless you have a ton of money, because you may come across a loadout drop package. And just like your regular battle royale games, a supply drop will drop into the map, which will be visible on your HUD as well as on your mini map dropping near you. Now, these are the absolute ultimate ways to win this mode. Grabbing one of these loadout drops allows you to bring in a creator class slot, the perfect loadout custom tuned to what you want on each weapon, and is the only way in Warzone to have perks. If you don't want to buy this from a buy station, then there are 2 loadout drops that will drop during a match, one within the first 2 circle collapses and one in the late game that anyone can grab. And if you think you're skilled enough, I highly recommend carrying a sniper rifle with thermal sight, as this will give you such an advantage on seeing players from such a far distance, and those that are running in from the gas, they'll be able to be spotted through trees, bushes, and any other sort of cover with a thermal sight, which is absolutely awesome. And something else just as important is a gas mask, because in this game the gas is absolutely deadly and will down anyone who spends too much time in it, and the only way to avoid being damaged by it, outside of not stepping into it in the first place, is to equip a gas mask. And these are single-use items that, when equipped inside of a collapse, allows you to breathe freely for a little over 10 seconds. Now, a gas mask is considered legendary loot, making it difficult to find. So if it is found, it is applied on your character automatically, and when you're in the gas, you will immediately put the mask on. You'll be able to tell how long its lifespan is by the bar that depletes in the bottom left. Now, if you do get taken out within Warzone, don't worry, you are in for a fighting chance, as there are 4 different ways that you can be brought back to life. The first being your teammates reviving you if you go down. The second, and this is definitely one you've done before, is the Gulag, and it is most likely the first type of redeployment that you've experienced. To come back into the game, you need to win a 1v1 with a player who also met a similar fate, and you'll redeploy via infill plane, but you won't have any of your loot or cash from when you were alive. Lose and you're eliminated, although you can still be brought back again, with the next option being squad buyback. So if you lose your Gulag fight or win and die again in a standard Warzone match, you will be eliminated, and during this state you'll be spectating your teammates, who can work to purchase your redeployment from a buy station. When spectating, you can ping the nearest buy station to your alive teammate to make their way over to that buy station, and on the right side they will see the 2 teammate names, where they can, for 4,500 cash, bring someone back to life, and that specific teammate will redeploy again back into the match without any loot or cash on hand. Now, if you have 2 teammates still alive but they can't afford to buy you back, they can collectively do it by having one player drop some cash, and all you need to do is press down on your D-pad and go over to the cash where you can drop some money. Now, be wary, because if you are near a buy station and you suddenly hear a flare or see a flare, then you know that an enemy has just brought one of their teammates back from the dead. So be very careful, as you will be able to tell that there are going to be some enemies very close. A really great tip there. And the last and final way to get back is a self-revive kit, which is another method of on-the-spot redeployment, which means you keep all the loot and cash you've earned through that entire game, basically like in Call of Duty Zombies. You can get this in 2 different ways. The first is to buy it from a buy station, which is one of the more expensive loot items in Warzone, or you can have an extremely rare chance of getting it from a supply box or scavenger box supply drops, which we'll talk about in just a moment. In Warzone matches, contracts appear as small computer tablets in the overworld, and their drop locations are marked on your TAC map as soon as you enter a match, allowing you to plan your drop accordingly. These are a bounty contract, recon, or scavenger contract. So the bounty is pretty straightforward. You are given a target on the enemy team to take out within a certain time frame, and you're given an approximate location on your TAC map on where they are. Complete that and you get cash, XP, and the satisfaction of potentially taking out a whole squad. And since eliminating targets is a major part of Warzone, the bounty contract should be second nature. Plus, when you're given that approximate area, it may help those who use the TAC map to call out and track players, making it even easier to guarantee some kills. Scavenger contracts are very simple as well. You find it and it will contract you to 3 special supply boxes, one at a time by placing a special icon on your map. Finding even just one or even two of them allows you and your squad to keep any loot or cash found, but collecting all three offers the best rewards, which is a chance at rarer loot, legendary weapons, field upgrades, and even self-revive kits. And completing this early on will give you and your entire squad a lot of high-level items to prepare for the late game. Recon contracts are also very valuable, which will give you an objective marker where you and your team must stand within a small radius around a comm station and upload data. However, once a squad member hops onto the objective, a flare will fire up from the station, which can be seen by everyone in the match who is near it. Completing the upload will award loot and cash directly on the location, as well as showing you where the next safe area will be via a yellow circle on the TAC map. Now, what is really cool about this is completing one recon contract shows you the next circle, but if you complete more recon contracts, it will allow you to see the next 2 circles, the next 3 circles, and you can potentially see all the way to the final circle, giving you ample time to set up and get in the best position to be ready for that end game. My last and final tip is if the circle is ending in this part of the map, which is Dam, you do not want to be stuck down here, because the only way is up, and there is no available way for you to get up without using a chopper or by walking all the way around the other side of the mountains and going up that way. If I can share that wisdom with you, then hopefully in your next game you can plan a bit better if the circle looks like it's going to end in there, so you have a way to get to the top. That's going to round up my immediate tips for Warzone. I'm sure I'll have more tips to share with you guys in the coming days, weeks, and months as the meta is more understood and the mechanics are well ingrained in everyone's brains. But for those jumping on for the very first time, hopefully this was useful for you. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like rating. If not, feel free to leave a dislike, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you next time.